So within our local development plan, we have our vision, a long-term vision for the national park in terms of its physical development, and the rural development frameworks are absolutely key in achieving that vision.
So the rural development frameworks are essentially supplementary planning guidance to our local development plan, and they are a development strategy for 2 rural areas of the park, which formerly were just covered by a criteria-based planning policy for the countryside.
We were getting feedback that communities were unsure about how these criteria-based policies were going to apply. The new landowners had aspirations, but they just felt when they came up, they were kind of caught by surprise. So we wanted to create a wee bit more certainty for communities, but also for landowners as well. And we wanted to take a holistic approach in the sense that if a development was acceptable for any other planning reason, that actually you could allow that, provided it helped to deliver something which the community in the area needed.
One of them covers West Loch Lomond side, which takes in the village of Luss and all the surrounding hinterland, and the other one covers East Loch Lomond side, which is part of the community council area of Buchanan, which takes in the village of Balmaha and the east of Loch Lomond side. They were both picked for 2 very separate reasons. The west side of Loch Lomond side contains the village of Luss, which was experiencing a range of issues, including depopulation and ageing population. There was a worry about loss of services, and the local community were quite concerned about that. But also because that area and the surrounding countryside is all under the one land ownership from Luss Estates, and the estate itself had been very proactive in preparing a development strategy that it would like to follow. So we were able to build on that and incorporate that into our planning guidance.
For East Loch Lomond, we held a couple of workshops, and so we brought together landowners, public bodies, the community and ourselves, and we had quite a 360-degree conversation. In these workshops, the community members would maybe say, this is what we think, and the landowners would say, well, this is what we want to do, and then there's a chance to say, well, no, we're not. The community would say, well, we're not okay with that, but we'd like you to do this.
Well, the process of the framework allowed us to engage with the local community in a structured way and with the planners and to pool all our thinking, and it provided us with, provided everybody with some transparency in terms of the next 20 years of potential on the estate. It provided us with a good indication of where the opportunities are and what the constraints might be.
Part of the premise of the rural development frameworks was to build on our relationships with communities in these rural areas, but businesses. And it's recognising that businesses have aspirations, and some of those aspirations actually dovetail with what we would like to see as Park Authority and what communities would like to see. So that includes a variety of business opportunities.
So it's just generally giving confidence to businesses and developers to invest in the area.
The benefit of supplementary guidance and the rural development framework is certainly it saves a lot of time when it comes to looking what one may or may not be able to look at developing in the countryside when it comes to, in our case, expanding a self-catering business. In the old days when I first started off, it was very much a case of put in an application as to how we as the applicant interpreted the rules and hope that maybe the planning officer saw it similar to yourself. Now what I'm seeing is very much an open door for discussion.
The specific benefits to the community are certainty and a better understanding of what development is needed. They've had an opportunity to influence and have their say.
We are seeing that development is coming forward in a positive way. So, like any planning document, it takes a bit of time to see the actual physical building on the ground, but Luss has already got affordable housing on the ground. We've got a suite of planning applications from the estate, so that's given them the confidence to move forward. And similarly in Balmaha, we've got a consent there for affordable housing development.
Balmaha housing project is a new build housing development of 22 units. Balmaha has a lot of tourists, it relies on tourism, and it has a lot of services catered to tourism, and people who work in that industry need somewhere to stay. The project will help to sustain the Balmaha village, but it will also help support workers who are in dire need of affordable housing close to where they work.
We've seen a petrol station being reopened as well. There's been improvements to public realm, and we now have planning applications in the pipeline for things like car parking, improved infrastructure.
The two frameworks are different, in part due to the kind of history of the control of development, within both sides.
It allows you to be far more responsive to what the needs and issues are of these areas and to focus on the certain outcomes that you're looking to deliver. We have been able to articulate more clearly what a development strategy could be. We've been able to map out development opportunities and constraints, and we've been able to integrate our planning and development role far more strongly with community aspirations and land use aspirations as well.
The park's pretty unique in the sense that it's a sensitive area. It's very close to one of Scotland's big cities, and it is therefore under development pressure. So this is about managing development, in a positive way, which rather than just saying this is what you can't do, it's actually saying let's have a conversation about what can be achieved.